Sylvia here, and today I'm about to show you how to live your best life by getting that perfect face that won't fall off. We all struggle with that oily, greasy, face falling off look at one point in our lives, but we're ready to move beyond that, move past that dark period in our life into a new you that understands what to do to keep this face on. I'm going to show you guys my tips, tricks, and products that I use specifically to keep your face intact. And I have partnered up with Bobbi Brown in this video because they really understand skin when it comes to makeup. So bless up Bobbi Brown for sponsoring this video. Okay, let's get into it. So obviously one of the most common things that people struggle with is getting shiny, oily, looking like you just dipped your face into grease. So my routine is kind of focused around avoiding those things. You always have to start off with some sort of primer or base to kind of help maintain that. Bobbi Brown has a new Primer Plus mattifier. I use this to help control oil and shine. So this works almost like a liquid blotting paper. So you'll see that once I kind of put this onto my skin, it'll definitely reduce the shine that I have. It blurs out the pores as well, which is something that's very important to me right now because for whatever reason, I feel like my pores have grown exponentially. So this will help reduce the excess oil without taking away the hydration in your skin because hydration is still super important. So this side is my troubled side of my face, as you guys can see, but it's starting to clear up a little bit from what it was before. So I just like to pat this in. I don't like to drag it around just because I don't want it to mess up any skincare that I've put in place so far. I think you guys can see that it already starts to kind of blur out my skin a bit. It's like Photoshop for your face without Photoshop. Okay, already looking a little less of a grease ball. Perfect. So I know that this Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation is actually a cult favorite and lots of people love it. I think what's key for this is that it is mattifying. And sometimes I find mattifying foundations more thicker and cakier looking. However, this one is very much weightless, breathable. It has a very light feel to it. It has a bit of mineral powders that keep the oil and shine in check, which is what kind of helps mattify your face. And something that is so key with this is that it's been tested against sweat, humidity, and water, and it proves to be quite resistant against those things. Some people may not be familiar with where you can find Bobbi Brown. It's available in Sephora and also bobbibrown.com. I'm feeling better already. And this foundation is like a perfect match for my skin tone right now. It is number 3 beige. Here's the first layer. It has evened out my skin tone, but still letting that like glow shine through, which is great, but not looking oily. This formula is really easily buildable. So I just go in a second layer with my freaking trouble spots, my trouble children. I actually don't like to use concealer that much. I like having a little bit of the naturalness show through my skin. Unless you're a pimple coming through to disrespect my face like that, then no. I can say this a million times over and you guys are probably sick of hearing me say this, but skincare is number 1. Like no matter how much makeup you put on, it's not going to matter because your skin is your base. And Bobbi Brown really focuses in on that, which is why they have something so great like the primer that helps with the skincare before you put on makeup. So I have this new thing where like I don't powder my face immediately after putting on foundation because I find that if you let the foundation sit and dry, it actually kind of just sets it a little bit better instead of just like putting stuff right on top of it. So that's my hack for you today. So in the meantime, while I wait for my foundation to set, I will work on my brows. A lot of people have been asking me to do an updated brow routine, but I kind of have like 2 different brow looks that I rotate between. It's like I almost have like 2 brow personalities. Like if I'm feeling fierce that day, and if I feel like the Vietnamese girl side of me is coming out, then I go for the arched brow that's a little bit more intense. But then if I feel like being kind of cutesy and looking innocent and wholesome, or like, you know, when I meet the parents type of thing, then I go with that straighter brow that's kind of like Korean inspired and looking more like an innocent little bebe. You know, one brow look that I do want to try that I haven't tried is that Ariana Grande brow look where she always looks like very like worried, like her brows like go like this. Okay, so now that the foundation has set a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of powder on top, just kind of like on this T-zone spot area. So I'm using this Victoria Beckham Estee Lauder Skin Perfecting Powder. I've never used this before, but I want to take it out and give it a try. It's a big, chunky product packaging, but very pretty, very Victoria Beckham. Sometimes I almost forget that she was a Spice Girl, and obviously Spice Girls were in my day, but I feel like she's like come so far from that, and she's kind of the only one that really took her career beyond being a Spice Girl. I know I have audiences around the same age as me, a little bit older and a little bit younger, so it's always interesting to see, you know, when I say things that are relevant to my time as a teen, who is able to relate or not. Or some people are just like straight up, they have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. Alright, let's do some stuff with the eyes. So I'm going to use this Smashbox LA Lights blush and highlight palette. However, I'm going to be using this as an eyeshadow. I can never find a really great pink eyeshadow, so I use a lot of blushes when I want to use pink on the eyes. I'm using this more like coral color on this side. I feel like people used to be very afraid of using pink on the eyes. I think people used to be really scared of looking like they have pink eye. But really, there's a lot of natural pink tones in your skin. So also on the eyes, I'm going to use another face product. Clearly, I like my face products better than my eye products, but I'm using the MAC Hyper Real Glow, which is the most amazing highlight palette. Oh my god, if you guys have never tried this, your face is missing out on so much potential. I'm going to use this golder highlight color on the end here and just place that right into the bowl of my eye in the middle, and then kind of blend it out a little bit. I remember when I didn't really understand makeup as a teenager and I never used highlight ever, and now I think back and I'm like, what was my life before that? I must have been such a dull looking face all the time, you know? And then another strange thing I'm doing is I'm going to be using the bronzer that I'm going to use and using that on the outer corner of my eyes here. Okay, lashes and liner. Two of my favorite things. Actually, no. I don't like doing liner. I always get in a mess, but love lashes. I'm using MAC's Backtrack Gel Liner, which is a classic fave, obviously. I'm gonna start lining on the outer corner first. I always line before and after my lashes because when I put my lashes on, it helps me kind of see where my eye shape is going to be and then align appropriately. So that's why I always start off with a really tight line first before I kind of go in and do any wing or stylized situation. I'm going to be using a lash that's more short but thicker. It's like thick. Look how big of a difference lashes make. It makes my eyes look 10 times bigger than a non-lash side. Okay, so then I got to finish up the liner. So I just follow kind of where this lash line brings me here. I feel like I'm kind of over the like exaggerated wing liner nowadays, and I keep it a lot more tame, more of just like a pointy point. Alright, we're almost finishing up. This is exciting. Whenever I get near the end of a tutorial, I like feel very accomplished. So to finish off the face, I'm going to be using just a little bit of bronzer from this MAC Cheeky Volume 1 mixtape from the Jeremy Scott collection. They have this, and I'm using this one because it's a little bit warmer. I don't want like a contour, I just want some bronziness. And then a little bit on the forehead for some color. For blush, I'm going to be using this Clinique Cheek Pop in Ginger Pop because it's a very glowy looking blush. I've learned this thing of instead of like sweeping my blush to kind of like dab it on, and I have a little bit more control over it that way, of where it goes. And if you hear ticking in the background, it's because Ty is trying to heat up a pizza while I'm filming this tutorial. It is so important to put blush also like across your whole face a little bit too, just with whatever excess you have, so that the flush on your face looks natural and doesn't look like a plastic Barbie doll. And then for highlight, I'm just going to go with something that's a little bit warmer. I'm using the Becca Cosmetics highlight in Moonstone. If I can open this. Moonstone. Just feel like warmer highlights kind of pick up the tones a little bit better when the sun is shining on it. You get that like optimal litness. And it looks like you have like, what do they call that when it's like golden hour? Like you look like you have golden hour on your face all the time. I think the warmer tones complement the pinks a little bit more rather than going with a cool tone. With a smaller brush, I just go in with the detailed spots. So my brow bone area, a little bit down the nose, the tip of the nose, or what I like to call the highlight mustache. And then I like to move my face in the light to make sure that I am truly lit before I go out. And last but not least, for my lipstick color, I'm going to be using the Vegas Volt MAC lipstick. It is a orange tone pink, or maybe it's a pink tone orange, one way or the other. and I am a dabber, not a smearer. You'd be surprised how different a lipstick can look when you smear it versus dabbing it. It's like a whole different look and color. Last but definitely not least, to seal these babies all in, you really need a good setting spray. My favorite setting spray of all time is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This one is just the smelly one. It's called Centering Citrus. Smelly isn't like a good type of smell, not a bad smell. But this helps lock everything in. So today I'm actually going to hot pot, so this will be the ultimate test, because when you're in front of that hot pot with the steam and the hotness and the meat steam hitting your skin. So if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up and comment below. It really helps me out and encourages me to continue doing what I do here. And until next time, I will speak to you guys soon. See ya.